It's just occurred to me that I don't think I thought anyone would see the back of the tree. When I decorated it, I put most of the baubles at the front and thought, no one's gonna see the back anyway, I'll just shove it against the window. And then I've gone and set the camera up here. Merry Christmas! I'm having a rare day off, which means I'm still in my pajamas, and I'm thinking about considering possibly doing a tidy. I brought my duvet in to have a duvet day, and that is a wonderful thing, but there's something about having a duvet out which does sort of expose how messy everything is. And if I do decide to take the plunge and actually tidy up, I'll probably whack on a film while I do it. And of course, 'tis the season, so it'll be a Christmas film. I love Christmas films. They're my favourite part of this period, along with Bucks Fizz, bookshops in the evening, and staring into rich people's houses because they've left the big light on. Stay at some of the kitchens in Chelsea, honestly. And putting on a Christmas film while you do a tidy does sound like a wonderful thing, but because we can't exist in modern society without rancor and discourse, there is some debate about what does and doesn't constitute a Christmas film, and I'm here to solve it. I think it's important that we unpack this, and we have a very honest and frank, open conversation with ourselves. All points are valid, so maybe you should do some finger exercises and warm up, because I imagine you'll have a lot to say in the comments, and I want to hear it, because what is this time of year for, if not for petty squabbling between your family members? And I consider you all family members, which is why I will expect my gifts from you in 3 to 5 working days. Because I don't do things by halves, I have come up with categories. I've got 4 categories. I'm going to make my case for each of them, and I'm going to give you examples of the movies that I think fit within those 4 categories. So they are set at Christmas, about Christmas, set at Christmas but not about Christmas, not set at Christmas but heavily featuring a Christmas scene, and not at all related to Christmas in any way but has the vibe. I've got a load of examples and I'm very excited to dive into it, but before we do, I should let you know this video is sponsored by my good friends at Cineworld, who are very much getting into the festive season with some brilliant classics that they're bringing back to the big screen. We've got Home Alone and Home Alone 2, which is secretly my favourite of the pair, we'll talk about it, and they're doing them as a double bill, so you can get tickets to each of them separately, or probably, if you're me, both. We've got the Muppets Christmas Carol, we've got Die Hard, so you can go for yourself and see how it absolutely counts, and then on Christmas Eve they're showing It's a Wonderful Life, and I saw this movie for the very first time, if you'll believe it, last year in a cinema in the lead up to Christmas, and it just was the most magical experience. It's one thing to indulge in your favourite Christmas movies at home. It's a whole other experience to get bundled up and brave the cold for a little bit and get into the cinema with all the shining lights, pick up your snacks and your drinks and go and settle down, and then when those lights dim and the movie flickers into life and you can start appreciating, in some cases, movies that you know like the back of your hand because you watch them every year, seeing them on the big screen, it makes them feel completely new. You can appreciate it in a whole new way. Or it's like meeting up with an old friend. I think this is the perfect time of year to go to the pictures. And since you're at the pictures, you might as well pick up some extra gifts for the people you love. You can get a gift box for 2 if you want to send some people on a cinema date night. You can get an unlimited gift box for the movie lover that you know, or you can just go ahead and buy yourself a gift card. And if you spend £30 on a gift card, you'll get an extra £5 gift card on top. A few years ago, I gave a gift box for 2 to my roommate's parents, and they text afterwards to say what a lovely night they'd been able to treat themselves to. And that, for me, someone who loves going to the cinema at any opportunity, it was really nice to know that I've been able to share that joy with other people and give them a night that they really enjoyed spending together. So thank you to Cineworld for sponsoring this video. I'll pop a link in the description so you can book tickets to any of the Christmas classics that they're showing over the next couple of weeks, and check out the gift boxes. Don't forget, if you are getting some of the gift boxes online, do it quick so that Santa has time to bring it to you. And in the meantime, let's crack on with defining what is a Christmas film. Okay, so category 1 was set at Christmas and about Christmas. Now you could argue that no film is actually about Christmas, it's really about the meaning of family and blah, blah, blah. You could argue that, I'd find you boring. So, an example of this, Love Actually. This is very much a film about Christmas. It's the Christmas, sure, it's about love. You'll find that Love Actually is all around and all that stuff, but this is, it's about Christmas, what people are doing at Christmas. Home Alone, this is about a kid who gets left home alone, but it's about Christmas. It's about the spirit of Christmas. It's about the tree and about the meaning of being together and what family is, and that's Christmas. The far superior, and I'm going to talk about this, Home Alone 2 Lost in New York. Now, when I say far superior, I instantly know some people are going to have a real issue with that, because a sequel, by its inherent nature, is derivative. And Home Alone 2 absolutely is that. It's just the first film again. Kevin gets left alone again. Harry and Marv want to steal something again. Kevin decides to thwart them, so there are shenanigans. And these shenanigans are very outlandish, far more outlandish. At one point he turns into a skeleton. By no means should these 2 men survive this film. They could probably survive what goes on here, but at this point, how are they managing this? I see your point, you are valid. My counter, New York. New York at Christmas? I mean, come on. I have only been to New York one time. I went on Boxing Day, and in the lead up to knowing that I was going to be in New York at Christmas time, I watched this film in October, which was a little bit too early. Rockefeller Center, the big tree, the ice rink, the steam grates. There's something about a city at Christmas time that inherently feels magic. I think it's the tall buildings with the lights that are always going on and off, that in and of themselves kind of look like trees being lit up, and New York kind of is that. New York in the 90s at Christmas, there's the bird lady who's friends with all the birds, and this film has one of my top 3 Christmas songs of all time, which is Darling Love's All Alone at Christmas, with that amazing sax solo as he's going across the Brooklyn Bridge. I think it's the Brooklyn Bridge, I don't know. It's a bridge in New York. New York at Christmas, come on! Then of course we have Elf, and I'm devastated to tell you that Elf came out 20 years ago. This is a 20-year-old film, but it felt like a classic from the very first time I watched it, and I don't know why. You know, there are films now and again that come out, La La Land is an example of this, that just feel like they're already been in the film language and film conversation for decades. Elf is kind of that for me. Whether it's the way it's shot, the performances, the mix of live action and animation, the actors that they've got in the film, the aesthetics, the production design. It's New York at Christmas again! It's all just so magical and I love it so much. And the final one I have on this list, probably one of my top 5 Christmas films of all time, How the Grinch Stole Christmas. Jim Carrey is the Grinch. Set at Christmas in Whoville, about Christmas. This is the epitome of what I'm talking about. You don't translate what happens in this film to the summer or to autumn, a random day in March. This is a film about Christmas. Yes, you understand. Okay, moving on. Category 2, set at Christmas, not about Christmas. And I'm gonna include a film that hasn't come out yet, which I know some people are gonna say is cheating, but it's a film that I absolutely adore and I can't wait for everybody to see it. It's called The Holdovers. I saw it at the film festival. It's out here officially on January the 14th, and I don't know why, because it is abundantly a Christmas film. What happens is, we're at a boarding school in Boston, and there are some kids who aren't going home for Christmas, so one of the faculty is supposed to stay with them. And the guy they pick is curmudgeonly, doesn't really have anything of his own. He's a stuffy Frasier adjacent professor. He's played by Paul Giamatti. And then very early on into the festive period, most of the boys get taken away to go and spend Christmas on the ski slopes with one of the other rich kids' parents who's caved and decided to let that child come and spend Christmas with him. Which means we are down to the professor, the cook, and one student. And it is about all of them spending the Christmas period together. They go to a Christmas party in the local area. They spend a few days in Boston, which was very special to me because I went to Boston as my first post-pandemic trip, and I was very lucky to experience Boston covered in a blanket of snow, and I instantly fell in love with it as a place. And when I saw it, I wasn't in a particularly good headspace. I was quite sad. I'd had a few difficult days. I was anxious about a lot of stuff. I was actually, and I'm not joking, I was doing meditations before the film started to try and quiet the anxious knot that was in my chest, and then the film did it for me. I absolutely adore it. It is not about Christmas, it's about discovering yourself. It's about how we need to look past everybody's fronts that they put up and see the person underneath, how we move forward in our lives, how we let go of the past, really uncover who we are. But it is laced with out through Christmas. So it is a film set at Christmas, not about Christmas, not unlike The Holiday. Now this is an absolute Christmas film, but if you look at it, this one is a bad example because this DVD has a red cover and that's kind of why I have it. Most of the time, it just comes in a white cover, kind of like, and I'm just gonna reach over, stay there, don't leave me, don't, I'm coming back. It's complicated, another Nancy Meyers movie. These are the same poster, basically, short of the scarf, the famous scarf, around Jude Law's neck. You wouldn't know this was a Christmas film, and a lot of it takes place in LA, where there is no snow. For Christ's sakes, at one point they have festive fettuccine. This film is barely about Christmas. Christmas isn't really a part of it, it's about escaping from the rigors of your life. It just so happens that it is at Christmas time. That's my argument. This one I feel like people are already gonna disagree with me. I'll put It's a Wonderful Life on this category as well. I don't know if I'm just misremembering it because I have only seen it the one time, but I'm pretty sure only a portion of this, and it's the framing device, really is set at Christmas, because obviously it is a Christmas Carol. And at the bottom here it says the most loved Christmas film of all time, so maybe I'm questioning myself. But I don't remember most of this being about Christmas. It's about George Bailey, and so if I'm right, this is my proof positive that my theory of the case on my 4 categories should be adopted in all film schools. We're moving into category number 3, and this is the part where we will start fighting. Category 4 is where it's knuckles out round 2. The category 3 is not about Christmas, but heavily featuring a Christmas scene and thus enters the Christmas film area. May I present to you Bridget Jones's Diary. This might be a bit of a Mandela effect for you, but Christmas is barely in this film. I think people get confused because we open the film with her in some snow walking to a turkey curry buffet on New Year's Day. And then yes, Mark Darcy's wearing a Christmas jumper. But then once we're through that, we aren't anywhere near Christmas for the rest of the calendar year. Diary, operative word. We don't even spend much time in actual Christmas itself. We just sort of get the part where her and her dad are spending Christmas together and then her mum comes home and they have a reuniting. I guess spoilers, but it has been 20 years. And then the final closing moments where we are back in snow and we have a little snog in some snow, that's New Year again. Christmas is not in this movie. However, even when they're having a scrap in the street, there is something about the way London is shot, the lights of London. How many scenes can I think of where she's walking across the bridge with a scarf on and sort of like her breath in the air, which gives it this sultry energy. It's all of the dates she's going on. It's the intimate night she's spending together. This has Christmas cuffing season vibes out the wazoo. So there you go, not about Christmas, but heavily featuring a Christmas scene, much like Little Women, right? This came out at Christmas, and as a result, I now feel is a Christmas film, despite the fact that very little of it actually takes place at Christmas. There is a proper, beautiful Christmas festive family scene where the dad comes home from war at Christmas. I think that's what's going on. But I remember the first time I saw it and the 2 subsequent times I saw it in the cinema within the space of a week, where again, kind of like Elf, I just felt like this was a classic that has already been around for years. It was something that I knew was going to be in heavy rotation come the festive season. Even down to the way it's marketed. Again, we've got a white background. They're all in layers. We've got a red scarf here. Saoirse looks like she's ready for Christmas time. They're off to Winter Wonderland. It qualifies, I think, as a Christmas film, not unlike Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone. Now then, we have 8 of these films, I'm pointing at them, all of which feature some degree of Christmas representation. There's the Yule Ball sequence, we've got the bit in Grimmauld Place, we've got the bit where Harry and Hermione are in Godric's Hollow and they realise it's Christmas and there's people singing in the church and there's a pub that's lively. All of that is very present. However, this is the only one that I think feels like a Christmas film. I know ITV shows all of them at the Christmas season, and you can tell we're getting into December because you start seeing them pop up on the schedules, but I don't know how to really explain it. This is the only one that absolutely screams Christmas to me, because they were all supposed to be released every year at Christmas, like the Lord of the Rings movies, and then by Prisoner of Azkaban, that had already gone by the wayside and they all became summer releases. This is the one where you have Merry Christmas, Harry. Merry Christmas, Ron. The Weasley sweater. Would you look at that? I've got presents. They have a lovely Christmas moment together that we don't get in any of the other films. So this one is the Christmas film in that particular franchise. Do you see? These categories are genius. He says, knowing full well we're about to go into the final category, some tea is going to be spilled. This is coffee. But I'm going to brace myself, I'm going to fasten my seatbelt, because welcome to category 4. These are films that are not in any way related to Christmas at all, but have Christmas energy. You might argue, and I would understand if you did, that this is so broad that I could basically just say any film and find a way to justify it if I wanted to. No. This is reserved for a very small, special members club of films. For instance, Singing in the Rain. This is a film that is in no way about Christmas. There is no Christmas scene in it that I can remember, but it is a film that feels incredibly festive. By the way, one of my favourite films of all time. I'm thinking it's Christmas Day. It's about 1 p.m. You've done all the presents. It's nowhere near time for dinner yet, but maybe someone is pottering about in the kitchen. Some of the family have been on a nice walk. You get back in, or you do that bit where you go, oh, we're inside now, and your body readjusts to the heat. You stamp all the snow, let's be honest, mud, off your boots, and you all pile into the living room. Everyone puts on the telly, and it's Singing in the Rain. And Grandad falls asleep, and your little nephew, toddler, decides that now is the perfect time to play with his action figures, and that's great because he's occupied. And you've seen this film so many times that you don't really mind because you're singing along with it, and then when it gets to Good Morning, your whole heart swells, and then you get to make him laugh, and you're just like, well, this is the best thing that's ever been put on celluloid. It's a film I'll watch any time of the year, but there's something extra magic about putting on at Christmas. Kind of the same with The Wizard of Oz, which is a bit of Hollywood magic that is in no way about Christmas. The sepia bit isn't at Christmas. I don't know if they even have a Christmas in Oz, but it's got the energy of something that will absolutely warm your cockles, that you can, as I said right at the beginning of this, whack on just to occupy a little bit of space while you're trying to create, for me, what Christmas really is all about, which is the ultimate relaxed, cozy time. For some people, this season isn't as easy as it is for others, and I think that when you do seek comfort and calm and relaxation and a nice chill energy. You look for classic movies that you, as I said, know like the back of your hand, that become part of your language, part of your patchwork quilt of a season. And that's why I love going to the pictures at Christmas time. It's why I love seeing things that I've never seen before, why I love seeing things that I've seen a million times all over again, because movies are an escape. Movies are about presenting us with that idyllic image of a season. Not all movies, some of them are there to reflect the world back at us, and this is a particularly difficult year at home and abroad, and that's putting it mildly. And I know that there are some people who would argue that escapism is a way of hiding from the reality of the world. I've had that debate genuinely for years. I remember doing a debate like that at school in debate club. For my money, having those moments of escape and recognizing the privilege of that escape is a massive part of us being able to be proactive, to reflect, and to have the energy to move forward and make a contribution in, I guess, healing some of the issues that we have in the world. And that's maybe a lofty thing to say in a lighthearted video about Christmas movies, but what is this season if not for reflection and gratitude and making a new vow to pay it forward? So whatever you do, however you're going to be spending the next few weeks, I hope you find the time to shut out the noise a little bit and watch some of these movies, or whatever movies you think fit into these 4 categories. Lose yourself in the story and use the energy, the replenished energy you get as a result of this experience, to go forward and be good to yourselves and each other. Thanks again to Cinewell for sponsoring this video. I definitely want you to go to the pictures and experience your favourite movies on the big screen, and I want you to come back and let me know what you thought. I want to hear what movies you're going to recommend for each of the 4 categories. I'm going to say pick 1 for each category, whack it in the comments, and I will watch them. I'd like to watch something brand new on Christmas Day, so you let me know what that is, and I will pick one and I will put it on my Instagram and we'll have a little chat about it afterwards. That sounds like a nice thing to do. In the meantime, I've been Dan Late and I appreciate you very much, and I'll see you next time I make a video.